here. We're here
Okay.
with Scott Crider from Sempra Generation out of San Diego. They just got an approval from the PUC, which could be very important for their new wind project on Maui. Hi, Scott.
How you doing? Thank you very much for having me.
Great to have you here. So tell us about, the new project out of Maui. What is it like? How big is it? What is it intended to do?
Well, the Oahe Wind Project is a 21 megawatt facility that, when completed in late 2012, would be able to generate enough clean, renewable power to meet the needs for about 10,000 typical Maui homes.
Oh, that's substantial. This is pretty big then.
Yeah, it is. It's a very exciting project, and it's located in the southeastern portion of Maui on the Ulupalakula Ranch. And we just hit a major milestone for the project. The Hawaii Public Utilities Commission just approved the contract for us to be able to sell the power to Maui Electric. And so, we're very excited about this project and very pleased and really looking forward to being part of this very fast-growing renewable energy industry in Hawaii.
Oh, yeah, that's great. So now this is an approval of the purchase power agreement that you wanted to enter into with HECO, or rather MECO on Maui, yeah?
Yeah, that's correct. There's really two processes when it comes to energy and renewable energy projects. The first thing you need to get is to make sure that you have a utility that's going to buy the output.
Wait a minute. Somebody's calling me. I'm going to ask you that question again. Just 1 second.
Okay. Yeah, no problem.
I'm on the phone. I can't talk to you now.
Mr. Schneider's here for you.
Who?
Mr. Schneider.
Oh, tell him to come downstairs.
Oh, tell him to come downstairs.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Sorry, Scott.
Okay.
Sorry, Scott. I was asking you, this was an approval of the power purchase agreement that you wanted to enter into with Hawaiian Electric Company, that is Maui Electric Company in Maui.
Yeah, that's right. The Hawaii Public Utilities Commission, needs to review the contract and approve the contract to make sure that it's in, the best interests of the ratepayers. And so, after a very thorough review, they determined that it was a good deal for the ratepayers, and we are pleased that the HPUC, approved the contract. This is one of the key major milestones for any renewable project. And now that that's complete, we can continue focusing on securing the construction and development permits from Maui County and other agencies in the state.
Okay, you think you'll get support from Maui County?
We're certainly hope so. They've done an absolutely thorough job, very comprehensive analysis to make sure that this project is going to be developed in a very responsible way. Not every renewable energy project treats the environment the same way. So we want to make sure that we're taking into consideration the impacts on habitat and sensitive species, and to make sure that we're developing a very comprehensive mitigation strategy to try to reduce those impacts as much as possible. So I think over the last couple of years, since 2009, when we've been working with Maui County on this project, I think we've developed a project that all residents can be proud of.
Well, that's great. Can you give us any of the details of the power purchase agreement? I recall that it was for 20 years. Can you tell us more about it?
Yeah, it's a 20-year contract with Maui Electric. And, one of the advantages that renewable energy brings to the island, besides just being very clean and environmentally friendly, is that it becomes a very predictable price. It's not tied to the very volatile oil industry. The island has to import much of its energy supply in order to generate electricity. And so, projects like Oahe Wind can deliver a very safe, very clean, very reliable, and very predictable power supply to residents.
Mm-hmm. Is there a community involved? Is there a need for or a desire for a community benefits package for this project?
There is, and we're working with Maui County and local residents to make sure that that again there's those benefits for the local community there in place, whether it's local water tank projects or making sure that when we were completed, when we've completed construction, that we return the streets, to a condition that's better than when we found them. And so we're working with with communities in Kula and Wailea, McKenna, Kahiki Nui to make sure that again that this is a project that's developed responsibly and a project that they can be proud of.
Oh, that's great. So can you say now, given this approval, when the project will be complete and online in Maui?
Well, we're still on target to hopefully have this project completed by towards the end of 2012. Again, we need to secure the construction permits for Maui County. And working, to get some additional permits from other state and federal agencies. And so, the approval of this power purchase agreement is certainly, one of the major milestones for the project. And again, now we'll turn our attention again back to working with the communities, working with the local permitting agencies to address any final concerns and hopefully get permits by the end of the year.
Okay, we're always interested in technology, and I wonder if you could tell our viewers what kind of windmills, what kind of equipment you're putting in.
Well, at this point, we haven't selected an actual turbine supplier yet, but these are going to be cutting edge wind turbines. They can be from the base to the tip of the blade. These can be as high as about 430 feet tall. So they can generate up to 3 megawatts of electricity per turbine. And, one of the very interesting components of this project is that we're going to be integrating a battery storage unit.
Oh, yes.
And the reason why that's important is because, wind and solar power, they're really intermittent by nature. The wind starts blowing harder, then it blows softer. And that presents a bit of a challenge for grid regulators to make sure that they're balancing demand and supply for the power grid. And so what this battery technology is going to do is to help make sure that it regulates and smooths the delivery of the power onto the electric grid and help kind of relieve those fluctuations in terms of the output caused by Mother Nature.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's great. But that's not the kind of battery storage technology that will last overnight or last for a long time. It's just battery technology that will smooth things out, yeah?
Yeah, exactly. What we're not looking to do is, for instance, generate power at night and then turn around and deliver it during the day. Although that's certainly the holy grail for renewable energy and battery storage in the future. But, at this point, again, what we want to do is to help provide a very stable, reliable delivery of electricity and help Maui Electric manage its power grid.
Yeah, great. Now, given your experience for the last, couple of years in trying to get this organized, what advice would you have to other wind developers coming to Hawaii to build similar projects?
Well, I would say, the number one priority is engage local communities early and engage them often. These are by its nature, fairly large infrastructure projects, and these are assets that are going to be around for 30, 40, sometimes 50 years. And you want to make sure that you're getting as much local input as possible. Help develop strong community partnerships. The immediate, from the first second that you step on that island, and making sure that you're engaging with them on solutions, because at the end of the day, we manage projects around the world, but we need to make sure that this type of project again is something that all the residents can be proud of.
It's interesting that most of these, if not all of these, big wind projects in Hawaii are done with companies on the mainland, with capital from the mainland. And I wonder if you have any advice for the local potential developer. Is there any, who presumably would have, more local knowledge about how to deal with local reaction and so forth? Is there any reason why a local developer can't do the same thing?
No, absolutely not. This is a very dynamic and growing market, especially in Hawaii. the state has one of the most aggressive renewable energy targets in the entire U.S. They're looking to get 40% of their power from renewable sources by the year 2030. And so, this is a potentially very large, very dynamic, very robust market. And so, this certainly is not limited to mainland companies. And, this is a market that, small players can enter into, as well as experienced developers like Sempra Generation.
Well, thank you very much, Scott Crider of Sempra Generation. Welcome to Hawaii. I hope when you're here we can have a coffee together.
Absolutely. Glad to be with you.
Thanks very much. Aloha.